Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Michael Richards with Elite Athletic Performance. This is an informational video for new athletes and parents that are wondering what we're going to do on their first. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of what we've got. So every athlete that walks in the door is given a folder like this, and it's got some sheets in there, just basic information. The first sheet, if you play baseball or softball, is a KPI. A baseball softball KPI sheet, which stands for key performance indicators. We've got exit velocity, mound velocity for pitchers, throwing velocity, and that mound velocity will change to pop time or fielding velocity if it depending on their position. And then a shuffle throw if we want to use that. We don't necessarily use all of these, but most of the time we will. We got a 3-pound scoop toss, and then some stuff that's kind of nerdy that is for testing core strength and shoulder strength, to keep an eye on that. And then obviously this is an empty spreadsheet, so over time they fill this out, they'll retest this stuff, and we've got a system in place to where they will know when to retest and all that. And obviously they're being supervised the whole time, but I'm a lot of times by myself, and it's hard to remember that and supervise the workouts and all that. So there's a system set in place that I'll explain a little bit better here in a minute that reminds them of when they need to test and things like that. So after that, we go and everybody has a general KPI sheet. If you do not play if you do not play baseball or softball, it'll be the first sheet in your folder. It's like I said, general KPIs. We've got a 10-10 shuttle, which is 10 yards. We've got a sled push for time, a lateral jump, broad jump, vertical jump. We'll keep an eye on their body weight. Most of their most athletes, their body weight, we'll keep an eye on that, and grip strength. And then again, empty spreadsheet over time. That way we don't have to go diving in the spreadsheets or anything like that to see to make sure that they're progressing. If things are getting worse, then we change directions, which rarely happens, but I mean, that way we know instead of guessing, right? So after that, we've got sheets with all of what we call our big lifts in here. Hex bar deadlift, which is a staple of our program. Bench press, squat, many variations of that, and we'll explain what all this stuff is later probably in a different video. Reverse lunge, rack pull, which is just a different version of a deadlift, which is super important, and chin-ups. We actually do a 1-rep max chin-up where we'll put weight around their waist or something like that and have them do a pull-up or a chin-up for a 1-rep max. Now whoops, I went one too far. That strength sheet, once we test in their KPIs, we'll go over here and we will get a 1-rep or a 3-rep or a 5-rep max. And I like to caution people. Some people don't care. Some people worry about it. When I say 1-rep max, I'm not talking about eyeballs popping out, veins popping, spitting, slobbering. A 1-rep max in here means that they had a technique flaw, one technique flaw, and it's done. We're not training for a powerlifting competition. When a kid's been in the gym for 5 years straight and they know the weight room, then 1-rep maxes are not a big deal. True 1-rep maxes where they strain and struggle. New athletes, we don't do that with, and that's just the way it is. So sometimes they're not strong enough to even do a 1-rep max. I'm not comfortable with it. So that's why I leave that open to where we can do a 1, 3, or a 5-rep max. We just need a screenshot of how strong they are when they walk in the door. It's not like it's a powerlifting meet. It's absolutely not. So, and then again, over time, they have this 1-rep max. We'll put this in right here. Like for this bench press, the date, 1, 3, or 5-rep max, and then the weight that they used for that max. And then when they retest, they'll just go to the next box right here, and it'll give a progression. When they retest, it'll obviously most likely have gone up, and they'll put the number right there. And then over time, we've got 6 maxes right there that we can see and easily see, like I said, not dive in the spreadsheets to know that they're getting stronger. Now down here in these rectangles, they're very similar on each sheet. There's just some different variations in these boxes right here. But those rectangles represent a day, a given day. And so when they walk in the door, we decide what workout they're going to do. There's several different options that I'll explain later. But and those options are chosen depending on how the athlete feels, what their practice schedule looks like, and all that type of stuff. We modify from there. And then they record what they did right here. So this is a bench press. If it was a bench press workout we're doing, they would put the date, sets and reps. If they used a band, they would put the color right there, and then the heaviest weight that was on the bar, they'll record in that box right there. And then these right here are it's different variations of the bench press that we use, dumbbell bench press, from the pins, banded, all that type of stuff. And they just circle that, and that way I have a snapshot of what they did each day. Then so each time they do a bench press workout, a pressing workout, they'll fill out one of these rectangles right here. This is the first one, 2, 3, and then 4. Every fourth one is red. That red means that it's time to retest. So we have a set up system that keeps them, to where we don't look up and it's been 12 weeks and we haven't retested. And then, if you do that and what you're doing isn't working, then, you just wasted a lot of time. We don't have that. So we have that set up. We retest, make sure that they're getting stronger, make sure we're headed in the right direction, and then it's nice and simple. We have that set up for every one of these lifts. So that is the basic gist of what we do on the first day when an athlete comes in. If there's any time left over, we'll show them how to cool down, things like that. I'll explain of how the workouts actually work on a daily basis, show them where to file this, kind of just give them a general tour of how to use the place. But the main thing is filling out these KPI sheets and the maxes. So hopefully that helped. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or leave them in the comments, whichever one's best for you. Hope that helped. Thanks.